Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and as you can see in today's video, we're going to be talking about the main talking points going from the Singapore Grand Prix heading in to Japan this week. But before I get into this video, I made a promise in my last fantasy video. So far I put this in it. No idea how strong that is, but we'll work with that. And then I'm going to top it off, finishing with this. Again, it's ghost pepper. It was still going to kill me. Let's see what happens. Now, as you can see, I've also probably just put up in the video what I put in this. No idea how hot it is, but I've also got half a pint of milk, just in case. But what I'm going to be doing is I'll try give it a minute. I'll set up a counter. So I'll do the shot without a minute of no milk, and then I can relieve myself. Oh fuck, what have I got myself into? So I've got a timer set for 1 minute. As you can see here, I'll start it instantly when that shot is finished. Fucking hell, I hope I'm not sick. I really haven't thought this through. Chin chin. Oh my god. Bear in mind, without the spice even, I'm not a big fan of how hot sauce tastes anyway. Fuck, I never started the 1 minute. Shit. Okay, let me set this up. Fuck me. Right here. Okay. So that was a fun race. Signs screaming it. Fucking hell, that 20 seconds can't hurry up. I'm happy I'm not thrown up. I do feel like I might throw up. But if I do, I'll blur it. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure that was ghost pepper. And something even worse. But fuck me. I hope the video hasn't corrupted. It's slodgy going down as well. It's not like doing a shot of alcohol. It just sticks in your throat. So I did a little bit of research on these, funnily enough, after I did the shot as well. And if it will focus, I'm finding it really hard to focus on this. Where's the ingredients? So this is 52% Trinidad scorpion pepper. And apparently, a scorpion pepper is 1.2 million Scovilles. So not only did I do a hot sauce shot, it was one of the hardest ones. And then this is 70% ghost pepper, which is also fucking crazy. But yeah, so good shit. Right, I kid you not, 10 minutes later of getting myself sorted, luckily I didn't throw up, I'm actually going to post the uncut version, well not uncut, but in this video I'm going to speed it up a little bit, of my reaction to the hot sauce shot. But anyway, let's actually get into what this video is supposed to be about. So, let's start off with Alfa Romeo's woes. Now, I even said in my fantasy video as well, I thought Alfa Romeo would be pretty good at Singapore. Now, the reason for this was they were pretty good at Hungary. And now I know Singapore, they've slightly changed the track now. So it's not all high downforce like it used to be. But I thought it was quite similar to Hungary still. And I really thought from how well Alfa Romeo did in qualifying, yes, they had a bad race, but that was sort of bad luck as well. I thought Alfa Romeo would put on a better show than they did. And they really didn't. Like, they qualified 16th and 19th. Bear in mind, Piastri was 17th, so realistically, he should have qualified even lower. And in the race, Zhou could only manage 12th, which sounds good, but when you remember that this was a race where Ocon, who was faster than him, had a problem with his car, had to retire. Russell obviously crashed out on the final lap of the race. Alonso went off the track, had to rejoin. He was basically dead last. So realistically, if we're looking at it, it was actually more of a 16th position, and Bottas didn't finish the race as well. So really disappointing from Alfa Romeo, and I don't see them being any better in Japan. So I think the season's pretty much over for Alfa Romeo, sadly. Then on to the next point, which is Haas still having problems after updating their car with race pace. Now, we knew going into Singapore that Haas was bringing in upgrades. Now, I didn't think that they'd be very good, and it was a 50-50, I'd say. Because again, like Haas have done most of this season before they sort of got dropped back, but now they've brought in the upgrades. They had a great qualifying 6th and 9th. Like, that is mega for them. But in the race, they just get swallowed up. Magnussen finished 10th, and Hülkenberg was 12th or 13th. So it's such a shame to see that Haas still haven't fixed their problem with race pace. Because if they just had a little bit more race pace, they would be potentially on higher points than Williams. So it's a shame to see, but Haas, I think their season's over as well if they carry on having these bad performances in the race. Then the next topic up for discussion is Williams bouncing back. Now, will they? Now, obviously, we know in Monza, Albon finished 7th and he finished 8th in the Netherlands. They had great qualifying at both these tracks. Now, we knew going into Singapore, Williams wouldn't be as good, but I didn't expect that much of a drop-off. It was quite a dramatic drop-off from where they were in the past 2 race weekends. Now, good news, the reason I think they'll bounce back is because of the tracks coming up. You've got Japan, you've got Mexico, you've got Qatar, you've got Austin, you've got Las Vegas. And all of these tracks seem better suited for the Williams. So, I think they will be getting into the top 10 next weekend. And this time, I'm not putting my whole life on the line though. So Williams, if you screw me over, screw you, but I'm not doing that again. I'll think of some other challenges to do maybe. But I'll put them more in my fantasy video. Definitely not hot sauce again. The other thing I want to talk about is Alpine always managing to score points. Now, yeah, they looked better at Singapore. I think they're actually the opposite to Williams, where they're actually going to fall off again, looking at how well they did at Monza. It's probably going to be the same for all of the higher top speed tracks, so it's not looking good for them for the rest of the season. But they qualified 8th and 12th, which is respectable. They finished the race in 6th with Gasly. Obviously, Ocon had a problem, but he was running good as well. I think he probably would have finished 8th because he would have been behind Piastri. But it is really true. Whenever there's points to be scored by Alpine, they always manage to stay out of trouble and just get the points. Of course, Ocon this time didn't get around that, but Gasly P6 in that Alpine's incredible. Well done to him. He just stayed out of trouble, did his race. The Alpine drivers could literally qualify 20th and they'd still manage to secure like 10th. It's good to see them securing these points that they really need in the constructors to make sure they finish off well. And now heading on to the second last topic is Mercedes versus Ferrari versus McLaren. And yes, not against Aston. I think Aston are a bit done for these days for now. But it really was like that in the race, wasn't it? Obviously, Ferrari at one point looked a bit faster, especially with Sainz. They were definitely faster at least. Leclerc looked about the same as the Mercs and the McLaren of Norris, but they were all within like 5 seconds of each other, the top 5 at some points of the race. And obviously then Leclerc sort of dropped off. But Sainz, Norris, Russell and Hamilton were neck and neck practically the whole race. And you really couldn't tell who was faster or not. Now, if someone qualified higher, they would have had the exact same thing. So I really think it's interesting looking ahead to later Grand Prix. I have no clue who's going to be the second fastest car. Could be any of them. I am leaning slightly towards Ferrari, but we'll have to wait and see. Because Ferrari looking like Monza and Singapore, both very different tracks, and they did well. So we'll have to wait and see. But it's very interesting at the minute in F1. Now, the problem is, what I'm about to talk about, Red Bull dominance over? No, not a chance. We always knew coming into Singapore that Red Bull would struggle. Not that much of a struggle. Jesus, I did not think that would happen. But we knew the gap would be smaller. Going into Japan, Verstappen's even said that Red Bull are going to be the fastest car again. And I don't doubt him. I really do think it'll be back to the status quo with Verstappen coming first. But hey, at least we got one race where Verstappen didn't win it. And to be fair to Verstappen, props to him, he beat the record. So I don't think he will be too fussed that he didn't win the Singapore Grand Prix. But anyway, I think that's about all the topics coming up for Japan post-Singapore. What do you guys think in the comments? Are there any discussions I've forgotten about to talk about in the video? What do you think of my topics and my opinions on them? And hey, I'll see you all later on this week for another F1 Fantasy video. Goodbye.